newsmakers now, and joining us in studio, Bakersfield Police Chief Greg Terry. Chief Terry, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it.
Good morning.
All right, so statistics from the federal government just released this past winter show that the homeless population across California is on the rise. We already know that it's quite a large population. It was said at about 180,000 people across our state experiencing homelessness. And we know that it's a problem here locally as well. What is happening with the Bakersfield Police response? How do you track this problem of encampments in the downtown Bakersfield area and elsewhere?
What a tough topic to cover in about 5 minutes here. It's a real issue. The city has devoted a lot of resources, not just within the police department, but within other city departments. We also have a lot of partnerships through Flood and Bakersfield, the Open Door Network, and Kern County Mental Health, for an example. So our approach is really a collaborative one, but it is a real issue downtown. When you really look at the statistics, big picture, the city has housed a lot of people over the last several years, hundreds. But for I think the statistics is for every 6 or 7 that we house, 10 come into homelessness. And so you can see we're underwater right out of the gate. So to talk about here more locally, we are seeing the encampments in here. The encampments aren't really the primary responsibility of the police department. It is in our partners through the city's code enforcement, the rapid response team, and our other partners. And so it's a collaborative approach. We see them on a lot of our public right-of-ways, like in a sidewalk, or in an empty field, and those kinds of things. And those have a little bit different challenges. One is on public property. And so the person doesn't have a right to interfere with the normal or natural use of that property, the sidewalk, a city park, etc. It's a little bit more difficult when they're on private property, because then we have to reach out to the owner, who very often is not in Bakersfield. They may be out of town, and trying to establish connection with them to get, hey, this is what's going on in your property. Do we have the authority? Do we have the responsibility now that we can go in and remove people from it? So it's a complex issue when you deal with the individuals. It's not just the homeless encampment. It's the individuals who are suffering so often from substance abuse and mental health issues, and so that's why our approach has been a collaborative one.
So any encampments that are on public space, those are illegal, but it's not necessarily the department's view to go ahead and clear those. It's more code enforcement and collaborative.
Yes, because we do want to remove them because they don't have the right to interfere with the public use. I mean, and part of it is not just the fact that they're blocking a sidewalk, but it interrupts business. People don't want to walk by. There's a sense of fear and a lack of safety by the presence of a lot of this, just that perception of it. And so we do approach it. Our partners with code enforcement are very active. Even this morning, they'll be out removing encampments. And so it is a difficult thing because of the volume of them, but they are very busy removing them.
All right, in Senate Bill 1011 right now, it's a bipartisan measure that would ban encampments about 500 feet from schools, open spaces, and transit stops. The bill is a state bill. It's set for a hearing this week. Would this make a difference in communities across California?
I think it can make a difference in some of those sensitive areas that we've talked about, near schools, near very busy businesses, that you're not disrupting the natural course of things. And so I think it could have an impact in some of those areas. It's certainly the sense or perception of safety around that, but it's going to create issues in other places because they're going to go somewhere.
Absolutely, yeah. Like you said, they have to go somewhere. All right, so we've heard, let's transition now from the homelessness issue to the problem with vandalism and break-ins and thefts. Business owners, especially in downtown Bakersfield, have been very frustrated and vocal about the issues that they've seen repeatedly over the last few years. How are issues like those handled, break-ins?
Yeah, very much a collaborative approach, because many of these are individuals who are suffering from mental illness or substance abuse, and so we've seen a lot of offenses like that downtown. The police department specifically has officers assigned to the downtown area to work directly with businesses, trying to disrupt, trying to identify who is doing these kinds of offenses. We also have some of our community relations specialists that are going out and doing business watch, similar to neighborhood watch, working with businesses to try to identify where these problems are occurring, how they can be prevented. Our detectives follow up on a lot of the cases from downtown. That's why you've seen over the last several months a lot of arrests that have been made for vandalism or break-ins that's directly related to a better coordinated response within the police department directly to the businesses, and then forwarding those cases to detectives to follow up and arrest individuals who have committed this violence.
And we've heard that a lot of those incidents are often tracked back to the same small group of people. What happens when someone is one of the unhoused people living on our streets downtown and they are involved in one of these break-ins? How does the police department handle that?
It's a very similar way. I mean, we handle it very much. There's been a criminal offense committed. We work to identify who's responsible and ultimately work to arrest them. Their status of whether they're homeless or not is really not a part of it. Where it comes into play is those individuals are often very, very quickly released from the jail, and so they're back out into the downtown area. They're back out in the area where we arrested them very often, nearly every single day. And so that presents the challenge for us as well.
All right, Chief Greg Terry, thank you so much for coming in this morning and addressing these issues. We appreciate it.
You bet.
Your time is 6:38. We'll be right back.